Woe is you.
Woe is us as Jets.
Even though, I mean, you've gotten used to being without this guy. So 3 out of his 4 years,
Alijah Vera,
significant time.
Yes, Alijah Vera-Tucker, who was healthy last season, who was healthy in training camp, was going to be the right guard this season. The question around AVT was, should the Jets extend him? They've already extended Sauce. They've extended Garrett Wilson. They've certainly invested a lot of draft capital on this offensive line, which needs to be a strength of this team. And certainly one of the discussions was, do you extend AVT? And I remember saying this months ago, I can't do it until he proves he can stay healthy again. And I remember having this talk with Sean about Andrew Thomas, saying, look, I love Andrew Thomas. He's a wonderful player. It's nothing personal. I don't trust him to stay healthy. And in trying to coddle Sean and make it certain to him I was not being biased, I said, bro, I feel the same way about AVT. He's a wonderful player. I do not trust him to stay healthy. So when I received a text message from, of all people, let me see who it was again, Tiki Barber, that said, quote, F word, ... AVT, I didn't even need to check Twitter. Because I knew.
You just knew. You didn't know what it was specifically, but you just knew it was something.
I knew he was going to be out for the year, and I knew it because in the back of your mind you wondered, okay, could this guy stay healthy again? He was healthy last year, great. He had a really good year, and finally got to not be moved around. The other thing about Alijah Vera-Tucker is he's so valuable, the Jets have used him as a Swiss Army knife. It behooves him to stay in one spot. Right guard seems to be the spot for him. But to get the news 5 days before the season starts,
miserable.
It's
miserable.
It's miserable for him, and it's miserable for us.
And it's not something that feels like it was. Look, we don't know how it happened. Apparently, it was a tricep injury. We don't know specifically because I don't think Aaron Glenn has not had a press conference today. I don't know if they've talked about this yet, the specifics of his injury. But it seems like a tricep injury. At least that's what people are saying. And I think about it. I'm like, how does this happen in practice?
How does it happen in practice?
How do you hurt your tricep? Tricep is a push. It's a push muscle, right? Think about if you're doing a bench press or you're pushing against a door or something. That's when your tricep is engaging. But so how do you tear that in practice? It's not like a stretch muscle, like your bicep. It gets caught and pulled the wrong way while you're trying to flex, and it ends up tearing from pressure. But either way, it's devastating for this Jets team because they were relying on him to be a part of a revamped and I think encouraging offensive line that was going to run the ball a lot this year,
which he's really good at, and it was also going to supply like this kind of solid foundation next to Membu, who's a first-round pick, who's starting right away at right tackle, and you could at least say the guy next to him to his left is a sure thing. And now it's going to be Joe Tippmann, who's going to be moved from center to guard, and now Josh Myers is going to start, who's not very good to begin with. And so it isn't that the season's over. Like, that's hyperbolic. They say, they're done now. They were trying to run the football. Their offensive right guard's out for the year. They're done. It's not that they're done. It's that they're worse today than they were 6 hours ago.
And it also...
That's obvious.
And it creates the issue that the Giants have had over the last couple of years, which is one of your really good players gets hurt, and now you're doing... shift the chess pieces all over the board to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, there are 2 new starters because of it, because 100%. Joe Tippmann was going to be the center, and now he's going to be the right guard, so you have arguably weakened 2 spots on your offensive line because of this injury. And then here's the other thing, because obviously injuries are part of football. You can't be surprised about it. It's like if we get the news Andrew Thomas isn't ready for the year or he gets hurt, we'll be disappointed. We'll feel bad for him. If you're surprised, you're an idiot. It's like one of those things. I'm not surprised, but here's where things get really tough for AVT and the New York Jets. He's a free agent at the end of the year. And as we sit here today, I have no interest in giving him a long-term contract. Now, you want to bring him back on a tag or a 1-year deal, that's obviously very, very different. But this was supposed to be a prove-it kind of year for him that he could actually stay healthy again.
Right. And they didn't decide to pick up his 5th-year option yet?
He's playing on his 5th-year option.
So this is his 5th year?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even worse. That makes it even worse.
So, that's kind of the problem. So it's not just, hey, short term, what does it do for the offensive line? It makes it worse. It puts pressure on. I mean, you weaken 2 positions. It makes Nembu's job tougher at right tackle. So the obvious when it comes to, the roster. But then the other aspect is, what do you do with him next year when he's a free agent? By the way, I don't think they picked up his 5th-year option. I think that's what it is. I was a free agent at the end of the year.
Right.
Because this is his 5th year. No, this is his 5th year, so it is his 5th-year option. I was right the first time.
Right, so this is his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
And they picked it up. despite the injury history, and now it's coming back to bite him.
Well, I don't regret it because I think last year at least earned that. I think it's more, can you give this guy a long-term contract? And I feel bad saying that because here's the thing about injury-prone players. That's not like an insult. He's not doing anything wrong. Well, unless you tell me he is. Unless you want to correct me on that.
I mean, it's hard because part of your job is to be available. And some of it is just dumb, bad luck. And I'm forgetting what his bevy of injuries have been.
You ready for this, Teague? In 2022, the year where he got hurt, I think in the Denver game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Same injury as he has now.
Tricep.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't think I remember that.
Same injury.
And so, what was the other ones? The other ones were
the one in 23. I got to Google it. I forgot.
Right. But my point is, I don't know if it's. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be the same thing. But if it is, that's just weird.
Torn Achilles tendon.
So
that was the Denver game in 23.
So here's what I hate to say then, because this seems like what I've learned over the years to be called a bad sales guy. Just guys who just get hurt, who their connective tissue is not strong enough for their body type, and so they just get hurt. Joe Montgomery was this way. You remember him, running back from Ohio State? He had a chance to be a really good NFL player. I'm not saying it would have been great, but he had a chance to be a really good NFL player. He just kept getting hurt. It was a shoulder, and then he tore his Achilles, and then it just every year it felt like, all right, there's another injury, Joe, and it never materialized for him. And it's unfortunate, but some guys are just that way. It's why I always tell you, guys that get constantly hurt like that, these tendons and joints, they got bad cells.
So he's a bad cell guy.
It just is what it is.
I feel bad.
Of course you feel bad for him, but it's nothing you can do about it.
And he's talked about how frustrating it's been being known as an injury-prone player, and I feel for him, but he is. I mean, you have to call it like it is. You can't rely on him. And so I don't want to turn it. I said it at the beginning of this discussion. I'll say it at the end as, woe is me, the season is over. It's not over, but the Jets were given a really bad hand to start this season.
It's a terrible hand to start this season.